Caring for Our Aging Parents, a Family Matters special presentation is presented by the following. Providence Health System supports our community's good health by providing the most advanced centers for cancer, heart, and neurological care. Providence is growing to help you live a healthier life.
In the world of earth-friendly paint, only one has the coveted Green Seal certificate for both interior and exterior. Horizon from Rada Paint. Good for the earth, good for you.
No one ever said, I wish I hadn't gone to the gym today.
She lost some of her independence. There were things that she couldn't do.
The people who raised you and made you what you are.
You get this amazing time when, like today, she said, I love you. I mean, it just blows you away.
I'm K2's Angelica Thornton. Welcome to our Family Matters special presentation. There's a population boom happening in America. Experts say by the year 2030, more than 70 million Americans will be over the age of 65, doubling the figures of today. And families are facing difficult decisions when it comes to caring for aging seniors. In the next half hour, we'll bring you personal stories, important information, and expert advice to help you find the answers you need. One of the most difficult situations for children of aging parents is seeing the warning signs that their parents need help.
My grandparents were all best friends, and when my mother was born, my dad was 8 years old and he was brought to see the new baby. So they met when she was born, and he didn't have a lot of interest in her until he went off to college, and he came home and he noticed she'd grown up, and he thought, that's the gal for me. My dad built bridges. He started a construction firm, and he was very smart. He was very intelligent, and he loved to do math. My mom was a traditional homemaker, and she loved to cook, and she was very outgoing, very friendly, loved people. If she was at a party, she would have been the life of the party. When my mother started to lose her cognitive abilities, it was 20 years before she died from Alzheimer's. And at that time, it just seemed like it would at first to most people, a little memory loss. Like she wasn't remembering things as well as she used to. And I remember one time we were going on a hot dog picnic, take the hot dogs and get in the boat and go in a lake, and she forgot the hot dogs, so we had mustard on buns. And we always teased her about that. But I think in looking back, there were signs that she was starting to not remember things.
Many people, before they start developing significant memory problems, have a change in their personality, their likes and dislikes, their comportment, the way they approach the world and their social interactions.
And I had thought my dad was just getting older, and he was losing some of his ability to reason and getting a little crankier, but I just thought it was him aging. And you would think after 3 generations I'd have recognized it in a heartbeat, but I didn't.
The other piece you can really look at is whether there's changes in the household. So, for example, is mail piling up? Are bills not paid? Those would be indications that there might be something wrong.
They had asked me to take them on a trip to Scotland, Ireland, and Wales. And it was a month-long trip, and I knew my mother had Alzheimer's, so I really debated about whether I could handle that for a month. But my dad was going to help me.
They lose, in particular, their get up and go. They don't want to do things like they normally did that interest them, their hobbies or outside activities.
So when we got to the airport in Canada, and my mother had to go to the restroom, so I said, Dad, you stay here with the bags, and I'll take Mom that direction to the restroom. And I explained the importance of that. I went, uh-oh, because I was 15 feet one way with Mom, and he was at least 25 feet the other direction, going solidly towards something that wasn't the bags he was supposed to be watching. All of a sudden it dawned on me, I had all my attention on my mother for that, and realized, well, my dad has it too.
To learn more about the warning signs and places you can turn to for help, go to the Family Matters section at KATU.com. There you'll find a complete resource center for important links and information.
The first meeting was a tough one to listen to, but a real important one.
Providence Health System supports our community's good health, including a wide range of services for older adults. From classes and medical assessments to clinical studies and housing assistance, Providence is a leader in providing care for seniors. To learn about all of Providence's services for older adults, call to get a copy of our free resource guide at 503-513-8509 or go to the web at providence.org/aging.
It's a disease that robs people of their memories. And right now, there are nearly 5 million senior citizens living with it. In less than 50 years, that number will triple. Tonight, a closer look at Alzheimer's disease and its devastating effects on families.
I've lost 3 generations to this disease. I lost 2 great-grandmothers, a grandmother and a grandfather, and both of my parents to Alzheimer's.
I had a grandmother. My grandmother on my dad's side had Alzheimer's disease, and she lost all those memories of interacting with her children and then her grandchildren, lost their names. And that was like someone slowly was stealing my grandmother away from me over the years.
All of the devastating things are, it's hard to lose a person you love. It's so hard to lose them one brain cell at a time, one function at a time, one ability at a time. So when you're with them, caring for them, and you see that yesterday mom could help wash the dishes, and today she has no idea what to do to pick up a dish and wash it. They can't communicate with us the way they used to, but their spirit is always there. And sometimes you'll have magical moments of connection, because it's like a curtain goes up in the brain or the eyes even, and you'll see them there, and sometimes they can communicate very clearly when they haven't been able to for a while. I had a fabulous experience with my mom. I was holding her hand on Mother's Day, and I was talking across her to my dad, and I had said basically, Mom, in my mind and in a prayer, please Mom, if you could let me have a sign you know who I am, please let me know that you know who I am. And all of a sudden, I was in the middle of a sentence with my dad, and my mom looked right at me, and she said, I know who you are. And I was stunned. I was just stunned, and I was so excited. I said, oh, I know who you are, too. You're my mom, and I love you, and thank you for everything you did for me in my whole life, and I love you so much, Mom. She said, I love you, too. And then the curtain went down again. There wasn't any more sense after that was made with her words, but that was teaching me I'm still here. One of the things that's so amazing is when you're dealing with this, you sometimes think you're the only person who's dealing with it.
And so caregiver support groups are important.
And it's good to see all of you family members here again. Typical meeting is we start out, we introduce ourselves, and we talk about our loved ones.
And so we denied it for a couple of years, but in the end I had to admit it, yes, she has Alzheimer's. My daughter said to me, Daddy, if you don't put her into care, you're going to do yourself an injury, because I'd lost 20 pounds in weight in 8 weeks and I wasn't getting much sleep.
We talk about our frustrations, our emotions, our anxieties, our guilt feelings.
Because if you're doing caregiving, it is challenging, and if you're not perfect at it, you feel like you failed. Or if you can't keep the bargain of, don't worry, I'll never put you in the home, and you place the parent in a home, there's guilt around that, like I promised I wouldn't, and now I have.
My heart bleeds for the people that come in, and you can see they're new, and they just look like they're exhausted. They've been struggling with a family member, they've been searching for help, and you just want to wrap your arms around them, but you also know to just let them come to you in their own time.
And so this has been my first experience with any support group, and it has been very helpful.
I would not have gotten through it, I myself, had it not been for this support group. I have cried in here, I've had anger in here, confusion, I thought, how can this be? And laughter. You never come to a meeting that you don't walk away happy.
For more information about Alzheimer's and support groups, go to the Family Matters section at katu.com.
And this board provides us about 5 different pieces of information at one time.
1932 was a tough time to start a business, but Art Rada and Maury Braden had an idea for a new paint company.
Well, they saw a great opportunity to make great paint and provide great customer service. Art Rada knew how to make paint, and my dad, Maury, he knew how to provide great customer service.
It wasn't easy going with the Depression in full gear, but in time, the fledgling business took hold and began to grow.
Started with Rada in October of 1952. Worked as a clerk, salesman. Maury Braden always treated me like family, and that's the way he liked to treat our customers. And we've tried to have that philosophy ever since.
Over the past 75 years, Rada Paint has grown from a single store in Portland to over 45 stores in 4 states. Today, Rada is the largest paint manufacturer in the Northwest.
As third generation of Braden involved in the business, I can tell you that family matters at Rada Paint. We've even got the next generation in training, right kids?
That's right, Dad.
Rada Paint, for 75 years, the leading paint brand in the Pacific Northwest. At Rada Paint, it's the finish that counts.
Moving an aging parent can be a difficult decision, but today there are many options that can make the transition easier for the entire family.
Oregon is unique in that we have a lot of different levels of care that someone can live in with a great quality of life.
When I first started in 1984, there were no assisted living facilities in the Portland area. Now there's probably 30 or 40. There were probably 3 or 4 in-home care providers. Now there's, just open the yellow pages, tons of them.
One of the intentions of all these different options of care is to support that, is to allow folks to have as much control over their own lives as they can, no matter how old they are, how much they need.
So there's a lot more market there and options in the market for care because people are living beyond the point that they can be independent and stay in their homes.
It's one of the biggest symbols of independence, but what happens when an aging adult isn't fit to be behind the wheel of a car? Tonight, we found an option that takes the pressure off the family.
And when I program it, there will only be one light that comes on at a time.
And you want me to hit it?
And I want you to hit it. And today we're talking about the driving assessment. This board provides us about 5 different pieces of information at one time. It also has norms for driving, so we're able to really know which range they're in. Our program will let the physician or the family member or the patient know if they're safe, if they may have to do some modifications or restrictions in their driving, or if they're unsafe to drive any longer. Then we go through the process of looking at testing in the 3 kind of big areas that DMV looks at for at-risk. The visual area, the cognitive area, and the physical area. And they have set parameters in terms of limitations, what's required to drive. I'll be able to provide enough information so that the person coming in and their families, because usually I bring the families in, will know if they're definitely safe or kind of where they stand. And then I send that recommendation back to their physician. Many people come in and the first thing they tell me is that they have been driving since they were 16. However, what they don't take into consideration is as we age, our faculties just age with us. Our eyesight is not as sharp, our reflexes are not as sharp. So somewhere along the line, we have to be able to look at when do we test and when do we say your skills just don't match what is required. So when they come in for our test and it's done in one session, I can give my recommendations back to the physician, and the physician can then explain, through testing, that your scores, the person's scores were really low, and how do we transition you from driving to another transportation option.
I was torn with being with my husband and kids, being with my mom, being at work.
At 24 Hour Fitness, we are the leader of making fitness a way of life for everyone. And we take great pride in offering specialized activities for our senior members. Here at the Lance Armstrong Super Sport Club, we have state-of-the-art equipment that accommodates everyone's needs, with award-winning personal trainers that bring out the best in our members. Our Silver and Fit programs focuses on the fitness needs of our seniors, and our water aerobics classes are designed to build strength and balance with a focus on cardiovascular. Our mission is to make fitness a way of life for everyone. And at 24 Hour Fitness, we are doing it in ways that enable every age to enjoy a higher quality of life.
Providence Health Plan. Together. Health plans for individuals, families, employer groups, and people with Medicare.
They're adults caring for their aging parents and raising their own children at the same time. Tonight we take a closer look at the sandwich generation, the schedules they juggle, the sacrifices they make, and the emotional toll it takes.
When I heard this term, 10 or 15 years ago, I thought, oh, that probably won't be me, and lo and behold, it is. Are you in the car? My husband and I have a daughter who has some special needs. You want to take it inside or put it in the box? A year ago, December 2005, my dad was diagnosed with lung cancer. I knew my mom could not stay in my parents' house. It was big, it was sort of out in the country, it was on a steep driveway, and my mother's driving was sort of deteriorating. And so even before my dad passed away, I started looking around Portland. Mom, how are you?
It was a busy night last night, and
yeah,
but I performed well.
Her health has gone to where she needs more help. So a month ago, we moved her into assisted living. You're getting a new hospice nurse. Do you know that?
Well, yes, I'm getting a different one.
Okay. One of the jobs I have that I've taken on is taking care of my mother's bills. It was hard to get a grip on what all there was, just to sort of get it all together. And my brother and I spent about 4 hours at my mom's apartment just sort of going through the stacks of mail and finding bills. Finding bills that had been paid, finding bills that hadn't been paid. I was put on as my mother's power of attorney for a variety of things because I was the person taking her to doctor's appointments and helping her set up her bank account and, do those sort of housekeeping issues. The bank statements and the stock brokerage statements and the health insurance and anything that was really critical, we changed to my address. The downside for my daughter is that we still sometimes spend a lot of time running errands for Grandma. Okay, why don't you say goodbye to Grandma?
Goodbye, Grandma.
Goodbye, sweetheart.
See you later, alligator.
After a while, crocodile.
So I'm trying to balance my mother and my child. And when I sort of look back on all of the years that my mother and my dad invested in us, and the energy that my mother especially put into us, it's like, I can't imagine not helping with my mom. I just wouldn't feel right about it. But yeah, the idea that the people who raised you and made you what you are, the idea that they're gonna die, it's pretty hard. It's very hard.
She's my pride and joy. Put her out to do anything, she can do it.
My mom has a lot of stamina and has worked hard all her life. She lost some of her independence. There were things that she couldn't do. One day she called and said, I think it's time now for me to move in. And so for her to get in and out of the house, it was just very, very difficult. So she was kind of homebound while she had the broken leg instead of, before we would go places, she would go to work with me. I was torn with being with my husband and kids, being with my mom, being at work.
I just really truly felt it was time for them to be a family.
Certain things that were high priorities yesterday all of a sudden seem like they're just going to have to wait. The relationships with the people that I'm with, that feeds me. You know, and I was trying to think, what do I do to take care of myself? And yet being around the people that I love is satisfying.
Providence Health System supports our community's good health, including a wide range of services for older adults. From classes and medical assessments to clinical studies and housing assistance, Providence is a leader in providing care for seniors. To learn about all of Providence's services for older adults, call to get a copy of our free resource guide at 503-513-8509 or go to the web at providence.org/aging.
The Great Depression was hardly the ideal time to launch a business, but to Art Rada and Maury Braden, it was the perfect opportunity to start a paint company in Portland, Oregon, dedicated to making premium quality paint and providing superior customer service. Today, 75 years later, the founder's promise remains alive and well in the over 350 Rada employees who continue the passion for great products and service. Rada Paint. Since 1932, it's the finish that counts.
Over the last 24 years, a lot of people have gotten in shape at 24 Hour Fitness, and we want you to join them. So we're lowering our initiation fee to just $24 and giving away a bunch of cool workout stuff. All you have to do is join. And that's easy, because you can do it online or in a club. So that's a $24 initiation fee, plus a bunch of cool free stuff. But hurry, because this offer won't last. The 24th anniversary celebration at 24 Hour Fitness.
They bring an unconditional love and help improve physical and mental health. Tonight, see how animals can work wonders for senior citizens.
Boy, we got quite an audience today. I think it's a lot of excitement. I think we walked in and people were thrilled to see him, and everybody's calling him to come to them first and reaching out to pet him, and yeah, they're just pretty excited.
All of them enjoy animals. It's the one part of life for generations back that everybody's always been in contact with, and they love when the animals come.
Even if they only get a short visit once a week with a pet, I think most people just love that.
It's just about that unconditional love that animals can give to the residents, and they can give that love back.
I think it has so many benefits for improving people's lives and their mental outlooks. After our visits, that people that were very agitated had calmed down, or that people that hadn't spoken a word in a long time would speak and tell me all about a dog they had had earlier in their life, and then when I leave the room, then the family's telling me that's the first time they'd heard that person speak for months. And so I hear that fairly often. They told us that when we were going through the training, that it helps people both physically, like bringing down their blood pressure and boosting their spirits, so mentally and physically I think it does have those benefits.
Oh, I love you. Yes, I love you, and thank you for coming back over here.
To learn more about animal visitation, go to the Family Matters section at KATU.com. One of the big issues of aging in America is legal and financial preparation. If it's not done correctly, it could mean chaos for the entire family. But there are ways to plan ahead and prevent a family disaster.
Elder law, which is the crisis side, is what we call estate planning, and that term's been around there for a long time. And so people go to attorneys and they get wills and they get trusts, and they plan for usually what happens when they die. And that's an important piece. You still need to do that. And attorneys still do that on a regular basis. But what they also need to plan for is what happens if they become incapacitated. And again, that's a significant risk. Who will make decisions for them? And they want to set up tools ahead of time, powers of attorneys or revocable trusts, where they pick the person who will step in and make those substituted surrogate decisions for them when they become incapacitated.
When I meet with families for the first time, the issue that I guide them through first is not doing your will. Instead, it's making sure that if you're incapacitated, you're in an auto accident, you take a thump on the head, you can't make decisions for your financial, legal matters, or health care, that doing a financial durable power of attorney and an Oregon healthcare advance directive is, I think, where everybody should start.
Once you've become incapacitated, once you can no longer put any of these tools in place. So it's important that, no matter what age you are, and even if you're a young person, you should have some basic tools in place. Wills, revocable living trusts, powers of attorney, in the advance directive form. The advance directive form is the one that allows you to appoint a healthcare decision maker, but it also allows you to make your wishes known with regard to life support systems.
Let's say you have an IRA or a 401k or some other private retirement. If the person who earned the retirement benefit is incapacitated, the spouse has no authority whatsoever to do anything with that retirement account or any separate accounts. So having a durable legal financial power of attorney.
Easy thing to do, small ounce of prevention for a big pound of cure, like a court-appointed guardianship and the wrong person making medical decisions for you.
And planning ahead also means planning to live a healthier lifestyle. And you can do it by exercising the body and mind.
The funny part of it all is if you were going to ask a person what they should be doing to stay active longer, the answer would be to stay active longer. Stay active as long as you can, and that'll help you keep going.
But keeping up hobbies, things you like to do, trying to keep up with your friends, do things socially, staying active.
The other aspect would be exercise, and when we look at exercise, we divide into two segments with the resistance training and cardiovascular training. With resistance training, we're looking at doing things that are going to help them incorporate more lean muscle mass activation. On top of that, it's going to help prevent osteoporosis. It's going to help them feel actually more flexible and prevent any type of cartilage loss occurring over time. And cardiovascular trainings would be very beneficial for just an overall healthy heart, making sure that the body's going to run as effectively and efficiently as possible throughout time.
That's my pole bean pole. You have to stay active. This is our tomatoes. We have a garden plot, the apartment complex that we live in, and they plow it up and give people, the tenants, a plot of ground if they so desire. And they supply the dirt and the water, and we supply the labor and the fruits of our labor. Cafeteria?
Yes.
It's all ready?
That'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm going down to cafeteria. You want me to just go? Volunteers make the world go round.
People who remain cognitively active, that challenge themselves with new learning throughout their life, or have higher education, have a lower risk of developing Alzheimer's disease.
Just stay busy.
Take care of yourself at least better than you take care of your car.
There's much more to learn about caring for our aging parents. For more information, go to the Family Matters section at KATU.com. There you'll find a complete resource center for important links and information. For Family Matters and K2, I'm Angelica Thornton. Good night.